Boom, we are streaming live.
That's what
Here
I'm
we are.
talking
Good
about.
morning,
What's going
Wrestling
on?
World, Wrestling Nation, Ward Wrestling Live. Thank you so much for the support. This is another week of Ward Wrestling Live. We've got a full boat for you. We've got some amazing people on, and we're going to start the week off strong with my man, Chuck Morris.
What's going on, baby? What's going on?
What's happening? This is the owner of Morris Fitness Wrestling in Alpharetta, Georgia, D3 All-American at Hunter College. And he's with us today talking wrestling and talking about his club. How are you, sir? Tell us, are you through this whole pandemic? Are we ready to get rolling yet? What's going on?
You know what, man? It's a day-by-day thing, you know? It's crazy, but we're getting through it, you know? It definitely has taken its toll, but, you know, boys want to train. People want to train. They want to still feel that contact and still get out there. And you know what? We got kids that are showing up. We're doing a couple of things. I'm going to be doing a camp at the end of next week. And then I have this thing called the Akumite, where if you know the movie Bloodsport.
I know it.
You know the Kumite was that underground fight to the death. Well, we're not going to wrestle to the death, but we got some teams, we got some kids coming in that are the real deal. You know, we got my boys down in Manatee coming up. You know, oh man, Gus, he's like, I'm bringing some animals, and I'm like, I'm gonna have some savages for you. You don't want that kind of heat, and you know, he keeps, you know, he sends me a jab or two, but it's all good, man. You know, that's the one thing I gotta tell you. I love Florida wrestling. They treat us good down there. They're always welcoming. You know, there's a couple of people down there. They got that one skinny dude down there. You know, he knows who he is. But it's all love, you know. It's all love. You know, the sport of wrestling is the greatest sport on the planet. It saved my life. I can't say enough how much it changed my life. I grew up in the 80s, 90s when crack was killing everybody, and I had a choice. It was either become the greatest drug dealer on the planet or wrestle. So I chose to wrestle, and here we are, you know. I've been in Georgia now over 20 years and been coaching for a while, and I have my own facility, and I like to say we're like the best facility on the planet. We've had some of the best wrestlers come out of here. We love to just compete against anybody, anywhere. You know, Georgia's an interesting state when it comes to wrestling. I mean, it's definitely booming. Like, if you want to get a good college wrestler, you come down to Georgia. We have all kind, you know. We have boys at North Carolina, South Carolina. We have boys all over the country. We have some of the best NAIA programs in the country. You know, I like to believe Jeff Bedard and Omi are doing amazing jobs at their programs. You know,
Omi just shouted you out.
Omi's a savage, man. He's done a great job there. You know, Jeff has done a great job. Those guys, I support them and always give them shout outs because you know what? That's what we have here. You know, and they're great guys, man.
That's awesome, man. So hey, I'm just blessed and I'm honored to have you on. I can't believe the feedback we've been getting when I posted that thumbnail, man. They're like, Morris is coming on. You got Goo from the Manatee Mafia screaming Gata. You got all these guys, Omi, shouting you out, man. I'm glad to have you on, man. I know you got that big, awesome factory out there in Georgia. Tell us about Morris Fitness Wrestling, man. I know you've got the best of both worlds. You can fitness, you can wrestle. You've got your.
You know what? I started out like in a small little box, about 1,100 square feet. Half of it was my wrestling. The other half was my personal training. And we just grew, you know. I gave the kids an opportunity. I mean, I'm not the first club down here. You had Arturo, who's like the godfather of club wrestling on the planet. You know, you had Dustin Kawa at Takedown, right? And then, of course, you had Cliff with Compound. And then now you have other clubs like Yates. You have Sammy Roundtree, who's my buddy. He started with me, and he's doing his own thing. I mean, it's just grown. And I I gotta say, we got the best coaches on the planet as far as high school goes. You have those boys that are down in South Georgia at Camden. You have Jeff Reagan, who you're gonna have on your show later, who has like, man, he has a bunch of animals. You got Cambridge High School, which is around the corner, one of the schools that I feed into. And you got Gavin Kane, who's coming out of that school, who's like, if you don't know who Gavin Kane is, that dude's a savage. I mean, and you got my man Lucas Da Silva coming out of Collins Hill. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And like on any given Saturday at 1 o'clock, you can find all the boys who are home from college hanging out in here, just getting their workout on. You know, we provided a place for them to come and train and just get better. You know, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun just growing youth wrestling. We take them as young as 3.5, and they stick with us all the way up until they graduate and they come back, you know?
That's awesome, man. So tell us about it. You've got the three things that I saw was you offer a year-round program.
Yes.
You offer a summer camp.
Yes.
You offer a strength and conditioning program.
Yeah. So my background is in personal training. That's how I ended up in Georgia. I started working at Crunch many years ago. I walk into Crunch Fitness, and there's this little dude there named John Mitchell, and he's like, he says, "You wrestle?" And I go, "Yeah, I wrestle." I didn't tell him what I did or anything like that. He puts his hands on me, and I immediately, I hit him with a little foot sweep, and then he's like, "I like this kid. I'm gonna hire you." And I started working at Crunch, and then Crunch bought Sports Life, and then I came down with Sports Life, and then boom, here we are. You know, I was at the gym, and one of the little dudes that I started training was going to Milton High School at the time, and it just kept growing from there. And you know, I've been doing it now. I've been coaching now down here in Georgia almost 15 years. I've had the club for over 12 years now. I mean, and this is what I love. And so I get to do the best of both worlds, right? I have the personal training studio, so I can make them as strong as I want to make them, right? And then we have the year-round facility, which is key because they get to come in and train. And then we bring some of the best clinicians down. Like I've had Wade Showers come down. I've had Tom Ryan, you know, before Tom won the NCAAs, and then after that, he was coming down on a regular basis. You know, we've had like people like Juice Scove. We've had my man J-Rock, Johnny Johnson from up north. He's come down. We wrestled in college around the same time also. I mean, we just, you know, and then this next Friday, I was like, I'm going to go do something different. So I call up my man Gerald Carr, who wrestled at Minnesota, who's a savage of a coach in his own right. I was like, "Coach, let's do a camp together." And he was like, "Okay, Charlie, let's do it." And right now, this thing is just growing, and it's going to be huge because normally, you know, it's like, oh, it's a storm and a MF kid, you know, and we're going to battle. But then, you know, I'm like, man, let's do a camp together. Let's get the best of both worlds. I mean, Gerald Carr in his right is a savage. He has two sons that were big time state champions, and his oldest wrestled at UTC. I believe he won the JUCOs when he was in college. I mean, so this is something that's huge. You know, it's and what you're seeing is Georgia's starting to really work together, like with Jeff Reagan. You know, you'll get phone calls of support from him. You'll get schools like North Hall, who has a great program. You know, they'll reach out and say, "Charlie, why don't you work with our kids?" And I could honestly say that at some point in my life, I've worked with just about every kid, you know, that's great. I didn't say they were my kid. I just had an opportunity to either stand in their corner or help them out or whatever the case might be, or give them words of encouragement and always tell them they can do better, man. That's the whole thing, you know. Is to encourage these kids to be savages on the mat. And then, you know, also when we got to go wrestle our Florida boys, you know, that's when we definitely go down there to bring the heat, you know. You know, but that's all fun. You know, we were talking about,
you know, speaking of Florida, talk about the knockout.
Oh, dude,
this is a Florida tournament that has definitely grown. And I know a lot of a lot of your folk up there come down and
Oh,
wrestle.
you know it, baby. We go down there to represent. You know, we go down there to represent. But you know what's even cool about the Florida Cats is that some of them have actually wrestled with some of the Georgia teams. You know, they've wrestled with Team Minion. Some of them wrestled on my team. Some of them have wrestled with Sammy. I mean, you know, it's like, why not? And then, you know, we get boys from Alabama. We get boys from North Carolina, South Carolina. And then, you know, we send them all over the country. I mean, our boys get recruited. We got some hammers out there that you haven't seen yet. It keeps getting better. You know, we got coaches that are starting to love the sport and understand it, and we get to support them, and they support us back. You know, so it's great.
Awesome. And we see you, man. It's awesome. I'm so happy to get the opportunity to meet you. And
man, I couldn't sleep. I was so excited. I was like, yes, yes.
and I was on the other end going, oh, he wants to come on. I was as excited as you. This is great. So now, yo, girls are killing it now, getting sanctioned all over the country. I saw you have an Angels all-girl clinic program now you put together. Talk about it.
One of the things, right? I was like, you know what? I'm going to do an all-girls camp. So you know who I called up? Terry Steiner, the Olympic, you know, coach. And he was like, Coach, I'm in. Unfortunately, we had this COVID-19 thing hit, and it kind of put the kibosh on it. But we're in talks of bringing him down once he gets declared from USA Wrestling to come down and do something big, because girls wrestling is the fastest growing sport on the planet. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't know about you, but if you haven't seen some of the girls that are right here, man, I put our girls up against anybody in the country, including boys. You know, including boys. These girls, they rock, man. You know, we got parents who are like seeing like the grassroots of it. You know, these girls, they train all over. They come in. I see some on Wednesdays. They'll come in on a Sunday. You know, they'll get in there with the boys. It doesn't matter. I got a couple of little girls who are into the sport. I've actually had some of the younger girls when I travel like to the AAU duels. I'm like, I need a 50-pounder. I need a little monster 60-pounder. And I go grab one of the girls. And when you see a girl step on the mat and she's an MF Angel or wearing an MF wrestling singlet, you better believe she's coming to bring the heat. You know what I mean?
That's awesome, man. Yeah, these girls can get it, man. And it's awesome to watch. And I know down here they finally got everything sanctioned starting the 21-22 season. So they're gonna get their chance to be in the show, and well deserved. And I know that, I mean, the Florida girls at least, and I'm sure the Georgia girls have been going out there and getting top 5s, top 6s.
Oh, dude, they're trailblazing. They're trailblazers. I got to hand it to them. They're trailblazers. I mean, they really have just, you know, they stepped up their game. They're willing to get out there and compete. You know, wrestling is not as old in Georgia as it is, let's say, up north. You know, that's the only thing. We're not a generational state, meaning, you know, you go up north, your grandfather wrestled, your father wrestled, your neighbors wrestled, your cousins wrestled, and if your father didn't wrestle, your neighbor wrestled. You know what I mean? So
your mama wrestled too.
Exactly. your mom's uncle wrestled, and like, you know, you go up north and mothers are like 2, but you know what? We're creating that down here. We're creating that that type of lifestyle where parents are, that wrestling culture is really, really something else, you know, where moms are getting into it. And, you know, in my club, we did the bronze certification. I would encourage all my moms to go ahead and get bronze certified so that they can understand the sport, so that when I'm yelling at their sons, they understand what's being said, you know, and that's taking off and running, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I had Coach Dubuque on, and you know, he's got a little daughter. Is it a daughter or a son? I forget. He's got some kids. I think a son. I know a son who wrestles, but I was talking to him like, hey man, you working with him? He's like, no, mom wrestled. But
See?
I'm like, wait a second, aren't you the Princeton coach? He goes, yeah, but Mama can wrestle, so Mama's.
Here it is. Here it is. That's
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, man. So you came down about 15 years ago to Georgia, started to get your toe in the water with the wrestling. So talk about 15 years ago, Georgia wrestling compared to now and how much it's grown.
Oh my God. So it's grown tremendously, right? So when you look at it, you know, you got to look at some of the people who put that on the map, right? It was a group of men, right, called the Minion, right? It was Pete Stacia, Mike Gianfala, a couple of other dads that decided, you know what, we got to do something about Georgia wrestling, and they started traveling back then, right? And they said, you know, we're going to go seek better competition. So I sat back and I watched these guys and I was like, I see, you know, and I watched them do it and I was like, you know what? I can contribute. And so, you know, one year I had an opportunity. I went with the Minion team to the AAU duels and I saw what it was about. And I came back and I said, you know what, since I have my facility, I can do it myself. And we started going to we did the Dixie Nationals, then we started doing the Virginia duels. Have you ever been to the Virginia duels?
No, I wanted to go. We were going to go.
Dude,
is that the same as NHS? We were going to go up to NHSAA this year with CFWA.
Right. So the Virginia duels happens during the holiday time in the winter. That thing is like a youth tournament on steroids. When I tell you there's some animals in that tournament, there's some animals in that tournament. And the whole purpose why I took my kids, why I started traveling, was as their heads got big, I had to show them the outside world. And when you go to the outside world and somebody puts your hands on your kid, you're like, Jesus Christ, he's going to rip his freaking arm off. God help him. And then you start to realize, you know what? That kid puts the singlet on the same way. That kid trains the same way. Then you start to realize, I can do that. I can help these kids become what they want to become. I can help facilitate that. You know, I give them the opportunity to start believing. You know, I believe in taking a kid who was an okay wrestler or never wrestled before from A to B. I mean, straight crying, hanging on to mama to like believing that they're a savage and they're going to step on the mat and, you know, just bring it. You know, it's funny. I just got a text from a dad the other day who had his little 6-year-old in practice, and he's like, the kid's walking around going, you don't want the smoke. You don't want the smoke. I'm a savage. You don't want that heat. And his dad was like, I wonder where he got that from. You know, you give these kids a sense of swag and a sense of belief, the rest is easy, you know? I mean,
yeah, it's been amazing to watch. I never wrestled, you know?
Right.
So over the last 2 years and 3 high school seasons, I've watched my son go from the first 2 seasons 0-30 to progressing to getting some wins this year, finally finding an off-season club in CFWA and got to experience, we went to Disney duels.
Right.
And I remember going in there and he had never been to anything like that before. And we walk in and you know, the back room where everybody's lining up to get some rolls in or whatever. And he gets lined up against this Pennsylvania team and they, right off the whistle, the kid blasts him back off the mat. And he's like, okay, yeah, right there. He knew, okay.
Right. That's why we go to the Virginia duels. You step on the mat, you're like, all right. Or you go to AAU and you know, you're wrestling like PA goal and you're like, okay, what is this goal? This is some nonsense. And then you're like, Jesus Christ, that kid is trying to kill my kid. You know? Yeah. And he's smiling about it. And you're like, all right, we can do better. We can start to train for it. You know, we can always do it. I mean, if you look at Georgia, what they've done, like on that cadet level, all the way up until what they got coming out of high school right now, you know, unfortunately, we lose some of our better kids. Like I had a young man that was in my club, Tyler Lillard. He's up in Ohio. And then, of course, we had Gabe Arnold. Well, we didn't have him, but we sort of kind of had him. That's Jaden Cox's little cousin. we showed him the light. Let's just say we showed him the way, and then the kid took off from there, you know. He trains over at Level Up with my man Donovan Pomone, who's also doing a great job. Like, there's like little clubs in our state that have pockets of greatness, right? We all have one goal: make Georgia great. One goal. And with that being said, you know, you're here, you know, kids just banging it out. Like, you know, we got kids like Caden McCrary, who I watched wrestle from the time he was like little. They call him shark bait, and he's not just a shark, bro. He'll freaking destroy you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And tell us, all the Florida coaches out there that are going to see this, or any coaches around the country that are going to see this, and they're looking for a tournament in Georgia to come down to, which one is it?
Well, right now, we got the Kumite going down next Saturday, and we got a bunch of boys claiming they coming to do something, but they don't know what we got, you know, hidden for them. Other than that, there's always, like, Mike Gianfalo does a great job with the Dixie Nationals, with the Dixie Dominion Duels. That's a great tournament to do in the winter. You know, they can come down here. That's a good national tournament, and they can really, really have a good time, see the city and stuff like that. We have tons of stuff in the summer when we could have stuff in the summer. There was tons of freestyle tournaments to do. You know, we got like guys like Christian Motor. He'll come up. You know, he's gonna come up. Or like I've had the opportunity to have like little Mark Anthony on one of my teams, or even a Brazakis. You know, Troy Brazakis is a savage, by the way. That dude's from New York. That's another animal, but that's a whole nother story. But and
he's raising animals too, huh?
Oh my God, Jesus, yo, the little girl's an animal. Yo, she's probably the meanest one. For God's sake, you know that?
He'll tell you that too.
Oh, my man Mark Anthony, yo, he's an animal. He was on one of my VA teams, and you know, but through this whole thing, like when you go to the big tournaments, you get to network with some great people. You realize how much your lives have crossed in the past, or who really knows who. You know, there's also there's two kinds of people in our sport, right? There's those who pretend to know people, and then those who know people, you know. And then when you catch them out there, you're like, nah, it's okay, you know. You know, like down here, like I've also had like a bunch of my guys from the New York AC. That's where I grew up, man, in the New York Athletic Club. You know, that was my second home while I was in college. And you had Hamid up there, who's probably the best wrestler on the planet. You know, one day you're in there practicing, and you look over and you're like, is that Lee Kemp? Or is that the Russian national team over there? You know, you never knew who was in there. And, you know, they've all come down to my club and loved on my kids and, you know, just spread the knowledge, you know. These guys are eager to bring that, you know, wrestling down here. And I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time. Like, they robbed us this year of our first NCAA champion. Lujan was going to smash somebody's head. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I don't care what anybody says. Or my man Wardell was going to throw somebody on their head. I mean, we had a bunch of boys, you know, I think we had like 11 boys qualified. And all of those, out of those 11 boys, I've watched them all compete on a Saturday when they were little, you know, and just watch them all, you know, just do great things. And I cheer for all of them, you know. And like I said, when you leave the state, that's one thing. But like what our coaches are doing now in-house, between Reinhardt, you know, you got Emmanuel College, you got Bruton Parker. I mean, there's plenty of college wrestling going on right here in Georgia. And these boys they're making statements, you know. It's great to be part of the process, you know, and part of that we call it that wrestling movement. And like I said, we got some of the best parents. Some of them a little crazy, you know. Wrestling parents are you gotta reel them in every now and then. But
hey, Coach, my man Shane McCall, he asked Coach Morris, "Are you bringing your team back to Punta Gorda in November for the Charlotte Duels?"
Tell him he don't want that heat, and that's on the plan. That's one of the things we're planning to do. Yeah, Shane's a great dude, man. I'm telling you, we were down there, and all of a sudden, it gets heated every now and then, and I'm like, it's always this skinny guy, always this skinny guy, and then after that, it was all love, It's like you see them, they come up to Dixie, they always are encouraging, they check up on you, like this whole thing is definitely been hard to deal with, but it's amazing the support you get from random people just being like, hey man, you're doing great up there. We're open about our wrestling. Like I posted, I let people know we're doing it. I make the parents sign the crazy waiver. When I tell you it's the crazy waiver, I'm like, you want to come in the room? Sign this. You know what the deal is. And those kids, man, they come back to practice and they're excited. I mean, it's great. I tell you, one of the schools you're gonna hear about also is Mount Pisgah, man. I got some savages going to Mount Pisgah. I'm telling you, just wait. Just wait. It's gonna be amazing. I mean,
Hey,
the whole state is getting better.
You and I are just going to go live every morning, and that's going to be my show.
I
like it. It's just going to be Ward Wrestling Live and Moore's Fitness live on IG every morning for coffee.
Dude, I'm with it, man. Whatever you need, I'd love to. You know what I mean? I love the sport. We got great people in our community. It's the one thing, right? There's no color. You got to wrestle. You know what I mean? It's just man against man, period. And every day I get to come in and practice and just be like, look, let's do better, boys. The kids leave the problems of the world outside. They come to practice and they leave exhausted and feeling good about themselves. And that's what you want. You want these kids knowing that, look, I'm going to grow up and be better than what's going on out there. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
I love it, man. I love it. You ready for the 10?
Oh, okay, let's go.
Reyes or Lucky Burger?
Reyes. How do you know about that?
I do my research.
That's funny.
Campanilla or Joe's Pizza?
Joe's Pizza? You're talking about Campagna. But,
Campagna.
Yeah, Campagna. So I'm going to have to go with Campagna because I know the owner of Campagna. Dude, you see, I'm going to know somebody. But keep going.
Yeah. Hey, you're going on vacation. You're going up to Blue Ridge or Savannah?
Dude, I'm going to Cape Sandblast. If I'm going on vacation, I'm going to Florida.
I love it. Hey, World of Coca-Cola or Legoland?
Dude, I got to go with World of Coca-Cola. There's so many different flavors in there,
Hey, the Falcons or the Braves?
I'm going to go with the Braves.
Smoke Jack or Q Barbecue?
Dude, I gotta go with Smoke Jack. Those kids wrestle for me all their lives. Are you kidding me? The boys would have my soul if I didn't say Smoke Jack.
I'm coming to Alpharetta to eat barbecue with you.
You gotta go to Smoke Jack. That's my backyard.
Drums or wings?
Dude, I'm gonna go with the drums, baby. I'm gonna go with the drums.
Pecan pie or peach cobbler?
Dude, I'm a cobbler guy. Straight up, I'm a cobbler guy.
All right, we got the chop or the dirty bird?
We're going to go with the chop, man. I've had some great times at the games. Just,
I love it, man. Hey, man, keep the passion, man. I love it. I'm so happy to have you on here. I'm so happy for you to come on. I love doing this. I love getting to meet everybody. I can't wait to get out and meet people in person. My crazy wife still has us locked down, but she'll get over it one day.
One day.
Yeah. And I tell people, man, I got to sleep with her, so I got to be like.
It is what it is. Hey, I'm telling you, you got my man Jeff Reagan later on, and he's going to tell you some great things. He's changed the Greco world in Georgia himself. And he's doing some crazy things with those kids down at Woodward. So he'll be great, man.
Coming on next, I got Coach Justin Smith. He just took on Patrick Henry Community College there in Virginia.
Nice.
They got wrestling. And
wherever they got wrestling, Any colleges they want to send some kids to, any coaches want to reach out to, they feel free, man. We always have some kids. You know, of course, I'm gonna try and keep them in Georgia, but if they want to go, they can go. You know.
Man, that's awesome. Hey, listen, Bud Hennenball says keep the energy, man. He wishes he had some of it. Alfred Sand says great passion for the sport. Keith Davis says my man Chuck, MF Savage, shouting you out. Shane shouting you out. Man, you got nothing but love from Florida, man. Everybody loves you, brother. Keep the energy, and make sure you get on to Ward Wrestling Live and post in the comments how to get to your camp, how to get to your club, how to get up there, how to do it. Share it with your people, and man, you got me fired up. I'm gonna go run 100 feet so I can be out of breath. I'm gonna do 10 jumping jacks right now. I'm ready to go. I've never wrestled before, but I'll figure it out. Hey, Coach, I love you, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
All right.